Good afternoon, everyone. It's Wednesday, January 19th of the 25th month of 2020. And I'm doing a driving video today because, for one, it's been a little bit since I've given you an update on my life and my channel. And because I kind of need to just run the truck, because I've been doing a lot of errands where you're not getting a lot of mileage, and I need to make sure the battery's charged because it hasn't been getting a lot of use, and because I'm just out of other videos. And so I'm starting in the Redner's parking lot here in Northampton, and I'm taking a little bit of an odd way back out to the main road. I don't know if you can see, yeah, hopefully the camera's picking up the old cement silos and conveyor belts beyond this newer building. I kind of wanted to show you that. There's not really a good way to get a view of it because it's a no trespassing property. I believe some or all of it is slated for demolition. And the significance of it is, excuse me, voice hasn't gotten much use, and with this cold weather, everything's kind of rough, so sorry about that. The Dragon Cement Company, you might recall last fall, I did a video of a little Plymouth switcher locomotive that was returned from Texas to Northampton, and that used to operate there. That was the Dragon Cement Company, and it used to go between the cement plant and the quarry on the other side of Main Street in Northampton. And they've returned that. It is on display along the Ironton Rail Trail, which was also a former railroad, the Ironton Railroad. There's a little train. There, since I'm taking detours today, why not? I always wanted to take pictures of this little train in the park, but if kids are playing, that's just, you know, in this day and age, that's creepy. I'm not that kind of person. And YouTube has their feelings about it, but let me just circle around here. You've probably seen these in parks before. It's a little play set shaped like a train. You got a steam engine, tender, gondola, passenger car, and little red caboose, which is always the best part, apart from the steam engine. So now you've seen that. Wasn't that exciting? You can tell I'm starved for content. And that's actually not true. I'll talk about that. I'll talk about what's coming up in a minute. Let me just turn onto Cherryville Road here. Could make it out, but I'll let this car go by. I'm just going to go for a scenic ride with my groceries. Again, just because I want to get some mileage on the truck to make sure the battery's got a good charge. We've had a couple small snowstorms recently. It warmed up nicely today. It's 46 degrees right now, and with the sun out and the wind down, it actually feels really comfortable. If the trails were not a mess, I'd go take a walk, but they really don't clear our trails here in the winter, at least not that I'm aware of. The Ironton they might, but I don't think the others. Anyway, I'm just going to go for a drive, let you know what's going on. You've seen a lot of videos from me in recent months. It's been trains, and non-stop trains. And, you know, I'm certainly not a trains-only channel, but that's probably going to be a lot of the content for this foreseeable future. Because as 2020 rolls on into its third year, yeah, I will still be getting out this summer, I'm sure, to do things, but it's still going to be a very low-key year, so I'm going to be spending time working on hobbies, staying in the local area for the most part. I'm sure we'll have some adventures, though. In the short term, I actually have a fairly long list of videos that I want to film. Excuse me. Beautiful view here, looking down Cherryville Road towards Lehigh Gap. That's the mountain you see in the distance. It's Blue Mountain. Maybe we'll drive there. I don't really know where I'm driving to. Just driving. It's a nice day. So off the top of my head, I've got 3 kit reviews for end scale buildings that I want to do. One is the Woodland Scenic train station that was gifted to me by my friend Dennis. Another is the Walther's Merchant Row, which probably exists on 50% of the layouts in the world, but you know, you kind of need that classic downtown. And then I actually have some 3D printed buildings that I purchased a while ago from DIY and Digital Railroad. He has a pretty cool channel. He's an N-scale model railroader. He does sometimes dabble in other scales, but he's primarily N-scale. And he also does 3D printing. And he also gets more into the electronic stuff with the Arduinos. And that's something I might get into someday, just not short term. I do own an Arduino. And I can think of a couple applications for railroading, but that would be for the bigger upstairs layout. I've mentioned a number of times I'm going to be starting a bigger N-scale layout in the spring. The only reason for that delay is I need to do all the cutting of the wood for the bench work in my garage. And with winter pretty much being here full time in Pennsylvania now, it's too cold to go out there. I mean, maybe there's some people that are a little more hardy than me, but you know, I don't want to be out there freezing trying to cut this stuff and then transport it across the snowy, icy driveway to get it in the house. So excuse me, my voice is rougher than I thought. I haven't really done much talking the last couple days, and I was out shoveling the snow and ice 2 days ago, which, you know, kind of left everything just sort of raw and windburnt because it was a nasty day. Yeah, so the bigger N-scale layout, which I'm really looking forward to, because that's gonna, you see, and I have a lot of really big rail cars, a lot of big passenger cars. I just got that new auto rack. I have those couple of large GG1s. I tend to be drawn to passenger trains, which, you know, by their very nature tend to be big cars. And all that stuff can't run on my switching layout. And, you know, duh, I knew that when I built the switching layout. That it was never the intention to run that stuff there. Plus, I got that new Bud car, which, yeah, that thing was cranky on that switching layout. It just doesn't, too many zigzaggy turns and tight switches. So I'm really looking forward to giving all that big stuff a layout that they can kind of roam free. But that's a couple months away. I do have a couple videos I want to film related to the switching layout. One is that I actually bought a lot of new rolling stock from Trains and Lanes and Lombard Hobbies. And they're smaller cars, because even a lot of my old rolling stock was, you know, larger cars, older couplers. I bought a lot of really neat smaller rolling stock. I know I got a couple Lehigh Valley Railroad, Pennsylvania Railroad, Reading Railroad, a lot of coal hoppers, a couple box cars. But they'll be fun on the switching layout. And okay, now I gotta watch traffic again. This is Blue Mountain Drive. I guess we're going to Lehigh Gap. I always seem to end up there in my driving videos. I don't know if I've ever done, I guess I have done one in the snow there a long time ago. But it's a pretty place any time of the year. Let's go see it with the snow, and that'll be a good run for the truck. Let this Mustang go through. That's a nice Mustang. And I gotta zip out before that car. This is a busy road. That's always a tough intersection, and you got people starting to leave for work. So yeah, I want to make a video showing you my new rolling stock, and then obviously I'm going to continue this series of videos about building the switching layout. I've made some minor changes to the track plan since you've seen it, and I'm going to make a few more tweaks. I'm not real happy with the arrangement of the switches to get out to what I'm calling the main line. which I'm really just using as a runaround track for the switcher right now, so that it can couple to the other end of the train. But I have future expansion plans that main line can then hook into other modules. Obviously, I'll have to take it out of that small room to hook up the bigger modules. And that's a project so far down the road, I almost don't even want to think about it yet. So I'm going to make some more changes just for better operations, and the timing of the next video is going to depend whether I have enough parts on hand to do it, or whether I need to either go to Trains and Lanes to look for some additional track pieces, or whether what I have works. And there's a couple things I want to try, and it's kind of 50-50. So you might get that video soon if it all works out. If I have to buy or order stuff, there might be, a couple week delay until I get back to that series. And then another series that I want to get back to is building that medieval village. I started that with great enthusiasm last winter when we were in the 13th month of 2020. And then, life actually got better to where I was out of the house more than I thought last year, which was bad news for the medieval village, but it was good news for me, for the channel. Because I got to go out and do a lot of really cool things. So the medieval village did get put aside, and I want to get that out again. Those videos have really surprised me. The couple that I did have gotten really a lot of views compared to most of my videos, and they're still people are still watching them. Usually after a video's a couple weeks old, people don't really watch it again or find it, but these ones are going strong, so I want to get more of them in the queue. Yeah, so there's a lot that I need to film and edit, but here's the problem, and this is kind of why I'm making this video as something of a filler, and I somewhat apologize for that. I mean, I did want to give you guys an update, but so here's the deal. You've probably noticed a transition from when I started doing my 12 days of N scale up to my recent thank you video for some gifts, that the room that I'm filming in keeps changing. And I gotta take a swig of water, so just enjoy the scenery while I do that. Alright, this is a pretty area, so hopefully you're still with me. So that room, I've said it a number of times, it only measures 5 foot by 9 foot, and I have it packed to the gills with stuff. You've got that stack of shelves on the one wall, and then you've got my desk, which takes up most of the floor space, leaving literally just a very narrow L-shaped aisle to walk around. And then you've got a wood workbench structure, whatever you want to call it. I'm calling it the upper deck. That's something I built last month in my garage and brought in and put on top of the desk. And now I'm in the process of setting up, trying to revive an old desktop computer. And I already have one of my 3D printers set up and running. I think I've talked about that. It's my Prusa Mini. That's a filament printer. I've got that set up. I love it. I can't wait to do more with it. I am super, super, super delighted with the quality and ease of use on it. But I also need to set up my resin printer, the cleaning and curing station for the post-processing on the resin, and a Cricut Maker, which will allow me to do some cutting, embossing, engraving. Probably going to use that. Well, I have a lot of non-model railroad uses for it. but I'm primarily going to use that probably to take sheet styrene and engrave or emboss textures on it. So if you want to make like siding for a building or roofing or something that's like corrugated metal, I might use it to cut small detail parts out of basswood. A whole bunch of uses. I have to learn it. I haven't set it up yet. I am going to be doing some vinyl cutting with it. That's more for personal use. Maybe I'll make some stuff to sell. I don't know. Anyway, it's a whole lot of equipment that has to be set up. And it sounds, it's like everything. You're like, oh, let me just go in there and in a couple hours I'll have this done. And the reality is a lot more difficult because you're shuffling around in a very, very tight, confined space that, just to clear room to set a box down and open it is a real challenge. And then the bigger problem I'm having is figuring out how to route all the wires. There is literally only one set of outlets in that room, which is why I'm actually running the layout off battery power, because there's no electric on that wall. Very expensive to get an electrician to come put another outlet in, so that's, God, I'd love to have an electrician come in and put more outlets in every room. It's an old house and it really needs more, but it's just not something I can afford. So it took me, this is going to sound stupid, a couple hours last evening and a couple hours today to figure out where I wanted to mount my 2 power strips so that I can get power to all of the equipment. And then I also tacked the one, I actually drilled holes in the wall so that, you could actually hook it. If you've ever looked at the back of a power strip, there's usually, what do you call it? There's like holes that you can kind of hook over the head of a screw that can fasten it to the wall. And the big power strip had 4 screws, and unfortunately it took me 2 tries to get that one right today, which was really frustrating. And it wasn't so much the mechanics of it that were difficult. I mean, I knew how to do it. And this is fun here. I got to hold strictly to the speed limit here. I got a cop behind me. Isn't that always fun when you're driving along and you're not doing anything wrong, but you're constantly looking in the rearview mirror because who knows if they got a quota to meet. Anyway, we're approaching Lehigh Gap. Let's hope the cop doesn't feel like crossing the county line when he gets there. I'm not hiding from anything. I'm not running from anything. It just makes me edgy. Yeah, so back to what I was saying. Yeah, what made it so hard was I was, because of the upper deck, I'm trying to kind of lean through it, reach the wall with the drill, the hammer, the screwdriver, so that just made all that a lot more difficult than it should have been. And then the other power strip, I couldn't find any screws that had a small enough head, so I ended up just zip tying that to one of the supports of the upper deck. But I think that's all good, and I think when I get home and I put my groceries away, I'll be ready to start unboxing equipment and setting it up. And I'm really excited about that because I've been talking about this. It's got to be half a year now since I decided to get into 3D printing, and I've just made almost no progress. And that's not because of lack of effort, it's just because other things have come up. Last year I was super busy with work. I was super busy finishing up a couple classes that I was taking online. That 12 Days of N-Scale series over the holidays, each one of those videos took me a lot longer than you would think to film and edit. So yeah, I'm not making excuses, it's just life tends to get away from you. I'm constantly busy, but sometimes at the end of the day I have to step back and say I don't even know what I got done. So I am going to get that equipment set up, and I am starting a, side business. This is not my main business. I am starting a side business I already have a name for the business, a logo for the business. I have filed for an LLC for the business. And yesterday I put together business cards. I have to order them. I will need to buy a few more things in terms of supplies for shipping and packaging. I'm running out of steam here. I'm just kind of looking at the landscape like you guys probably are. But, there's the house up on the red hill, which is now the white hill. And there goes our friendly police officer. Don't have to worry about him anymore. I'm doing the speed limit, and he is speeding. Not that I really care, to be honest. Yeah, so where was I? I'm too busy looking at this house. You guys know I'm utterly obsessed with that house. That house sold last year. That is, if I could have one house in eastern Pennsylvania, that would be the house. It was way out of my budget. I couldn't even think about it. Well, obviously I did a lot of thinking about it, but there was just absolutely no chance I was ever going to be able to buy it. And, let's go through Palmerton. I just realized I forgot to come back to Palmerton during Christmas season to see if they still have that lovely, train. Now I'm distracted looking at something else. When you look towards Blue Mountain behind me, you can't see it. With the snow, you can actually see pretty clearly where all the hiking trails go up the side of the mountain. It's pretty cool. Normally, you really can't see them. But, yeah, there's a bridge just over this hill and beyond that they had a train Christmas display last year. Did a video on that. So I have no idea if they did that again this year, but we're going to find out. Yeah, so not much else really. I guess I'll drive through Palmerton and then end the video. I'd love to have one of those side-by-sides. One of those with a plow would make my life on snow days so much easier, but again, I haven't won the lottery, so model trains pretty much eat up the little bit of spending money that there is these days. But yeah, I am going to start the 3D printing thing as a side business. When I launch it initially, and I will do videos of all this, by the way. Let me backtrack a little bit. When I get all the equipment set up in this room, and the room actually has a name, by the way. I still need to make a logo to go with it, but I'm calling the room the printing press. Nikki from Nick's Crossing, she came up with that name, and it's absolutely perfect in several different ways. So when I get all the equipment set up in the printing press, I'll do a video of that setup. And once I get the business for the 3D printing, like, finally off the ground, I mean, I've started some important steps, but once I'm actually, quote, open for business, I'll be doing some videos about that. And at that time, I'll unveil the name of the business. I'll link to my Etsy shop. I'm initially just going to sell off of Etsy, but once I get things underway, I'll see how it goes. I may sell my designs through Shapeways. That's basically a company that you can upload files and pay, and they'll 3D print it and send it to you. You can also sell your designs there. The only downside is they tend to cost a lot more, but a lot of people do search Shapeways, so I may put my designs there as well. As things build, I may sell on Amazon. I may just make an e-commerce site myself. It's kind of a just wait and see kind of thing, I'm trying to start this small. Like I said, it's not my main business. Yeah, look at that. Look at that bridge ahead. You can't see it because it's not lit up, but left to right you have a caboose, 2 freight cars, and then a diesel locomotive. and that lights up at night. So it looks like, I mean, that actually is an active train bridge. Even though I've never seen a train go across it, I think it's just siding into local industry. So it's an actual train bridge, but they've got it lit up so it looks like there's always a train. And I'm rambling, of course. I don't know why traffic is backed up like this in Palmerton. I don't usually come through here this time of day, but it's always been smooth sailing through here, so I don't know what's up. But yeah, the 3D printing thing, for now at least, is not my main business. It's, you know, a side business, and when I have client work for the main business, obviously that has to take priority. But I'm kind of thinking the 3D printing thing is going to go one of two ways. Either these things are going to sell as quick as I can print them, and I'm going to have to figure out how to scale it up, meaning getting more 3D printers, but then also finding more space, because the printing press is going to be absolutely full. Or I'm going to make all these designs and put them out there, and it's just going to be crickets chirping, and I'm going to be like, why did I even do this, other than, you know, obviously I'll use them for my own layouts and stuff. And there's no way to know. Until I get this started, there's no way to know. I've seen, even just in the last 6 months, a lot more people getting into the business of selling railroad stuff from 3D printers. And then, unfortunately, well, fortunately if you own a 3D printer, unfortunately if you're in business selling stuff, there's also a lot of people who just put their designs up for free and share them, you know, with other people, so that they can print their own. And, you know, I mean, that's their prerogative. I can't criticize that, but that's my competition. You know, who knows if people are gonna pay for a design when they can just download it and print themselves. So it's all a learning process. It's a win for me regardless of what happens, because this is equipment I was going to buy anyway, just for my own use. And hey, if it sells stuff, that's a bonus, to be honest. But alright, well, I am kind of just rambling and trailing off now. But I will put this up Saturday. I'm filming this Wednesday. This will be my Saturday video. I am trying to stick with 2 videos a week, which is usually Wednesday, Saturday. Sometimes it shifts if I'm behind on editing, but honestly, I may miss my next video slot or two. If I go a week or 2 without a video, don't panic, because just all this work setting up that room is taking so much time, and I need that room to do my filming. I need that desk clear so that all the stuff I want to show you with the models I can film. And right now it's just a mess. You know how it is when you're setting things up, and, you know, I don't know. Hopefully I'll get it cleaned up soon and ready to use. But if I end up going a week or 2 without a video, don't panic, that's why. But hopefully I won't miss a beat. Anyway, going through Palmerton now, heading out of town. Yes, it's a beautiful drive beyond this, but I don't want to talk your ear off that long. So thank you for riding along. Thank you for listening to my rambling update. And I'll be back soon with more model train stuff, 3D printing stuff, and medieval village stuff. Thanks for watching.